another next door or?
No, you just log into yours.
You just log into next door and it just gives me what's going on down in Mylan.
Yeah.
If I posted, it would post to people in Mylan.
Okay.
Like that, I don't know.
Yeah, that's, I don't use it, so
I do very little.
yeah. Yeah, I think I turned off all my notifications really quick, because I thought, oh my God.
Kind of a rabbit hole.
You know, yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Ian. Very well done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apologies.
No problem. Ian and Chris, I should have said.
No, it's Ian. It's only Ian.
Well done, guys.
Chris's fault.
Yeah.
And fixed.
Yep.
No. We don't know what happened.
The
I didn't touch
internet, the
anything.
internet dropped. I mean, it just literally,
But that's-
Pam and Jonathan are logging back in too.
yeah, all right.
Okay, thank
I'll
you.
keep a lookout for them.
Okay.
Okay,
Unfinished business, Dexter Ann Arbor, well, we talked about this a bit already, the KFC development traffic study. And there's not really much there from what I read, but David and we've already kind of jumped ahead with our earlier discussion, but anyways, so we can just check this off the list. And we've done that, addressed it. 2025 capital improvement plan and budget request.
could I, real
Oh.
quick, just on that, just
Which one?
the development that they're talking about off of Dexter and Upper, the KFC one, they resubmitted, so now what's the process, I mean, or what?
It's a long process. They have to submit plans. There's a hydrogeological study that they had to do, which they did, but there's issues with it, so they have to, I don't know if they're gonna have to redo that.
Is there wetlands back there?
No,
It's
it's,
water. They wanted to hook into the municipal water, but we'd have to bore under 94 to get water to them, which is,
Wow.
or they have to put in a community well, which means they'd have to prove that they can get clean water for a giant well in the corner somewhere that would feed out to all of the people there.
yes, and that's in the path of the Gelman Plume. Yeah, so there's a lot of things to it, but they've resubmitted and they're in the beginning stages. So we'll see.
Months?
Year and a years, it could be months.
Okay.
I mean, it's been a couple years already, hasn't it?
They should be able to use some of the stuff that they had from their previous submission, but just trying to get onto the agendas and get through the
Okay.
jumps, yeah, at least 6 months.
Okay, just curious, thanks.
The capital improvement plan and budget request, so this kind of flows into, actually, the one after that is the WCRC road project agreement list, because that would be kind of our budget, whatever roads that we have decided will go in front of the board at the budget time, and that's what we're gonna beg for some money at this point, but it's not gonna be that bad, because everybody wants their roads improved or to have good roads, so. And we'll just have to see. So when I did talk with the clerk about this, she said, you know, a ballpark like $400,000-ish. So even if we went up, you know, and then we're gonna have another 100,000 grant approximately from the road commission. So we may be able to do quite a few again. But the one road, and working on this try and get the engineering costs back to Park Ridge and reading through all of that. And they have come in front of us asking for their roads to be improved. I really think that we need to put that on the list. And we did actually have it on the list, but the road commission said if there was anything that was left over from our list, you know, fund wise, that we may be able to do Park Ridge, but we didn't, there was no money left over. So if we could have Park Ridge on this next,
That's for a gravel uplift.
yes, gravel uplift. Yeah, I don't think they'll ever pave that because of they'd have to widen the road and take out a lot of trees, so.
It's pretty big.
It is, it's very nice. And we did talk about some other roads the last time, but, Pine View, did anybody drive through the Pine View
Is that
neighborhood?
the one off of Huron River Drive?
Yeah,
near
up in the
Dexter
We
corner.
Huron
were
Park?
trying to do different quadrants, remember, so that we
Yeah,
spread the money.
I drove through there. I mean, Frank, I guess maybe I'm just so used to living on a dirt road now that I drive on a dirt road and if it doesn't seem too bad to me, you know, it didn't seem too bad to me. Not saying that the residents don't deserve something, but I've seen East and West Delhi a heck of a lot worse off than when I drove it now. It wasn't after a big rain and, you know, some of the things that make dirt roads bad. But I
Well,
drove it didn't seem that bad to me.
Well, when you go up and then you come down.
Right.
Over on that side, cause it's on a slope and you can, there's ditching from the water.
It didn't look that bad to me.
I went there right after our meeting. Don't remember it very well, but I remember thinking there was a couple spots that were bad. Overall, it didn't seem too bad, but there were places where it was pretty ruddy.
And I don't think, could you look in the files to see if they ever had? Yeah,
Thank you.
East and
Is it
west.
all mud or is there still some gravel there?
Yeah, because you know, if they go through and scrape, it's gonna look good for a day and you just may have hit that day that was, you know.
Did they crown it? Do it properly? They did too.
How long a road is east and west when you added it together? If you were to guess, having driven it, Caroline,
what?
half a mile?
East and west, what?
Pine View.
Pine View.
Thank you.
It's a loop, so,
Maybe a mile,
Maybe that's the
Altogether?
spreadsheet.
yeah, I was trying to find it in my spreadsheet.
maybe a mile. You talking about a mile?
It's a
It was shorter than I expected. I mean, I was expecting, you know, when I looked at the map, I went, oh, this is a short little. whoop. You know, had that little loopy part.
Which would be the north.
I think about a mile.
Yeah.
You just get Adel out of here, you know, in the middle of the day. It would be, it's on your job. You should check it out too, and you can check out a park reserve over there while you're there.
I know.
Okay, so I'll put down Pine View.
Acreage on the spreadsheet is, there's two entries in here. 0.59 miles and 0.65 miles.
Well, remember, we just paved one of those, repaved one of those. The other one is already paved. So-
Parkview?
That's just.
No, Park Ridge.
Park Ridge.
So you
Oh,
need
Park
to-
Ridge. I thought we were talking about Pine View.
Pine View.
I thought we were talking
And
about.
the
Pine
other
View.
entrance is already paved and
See,
eventually it's gonna need,
But the dirt road in between is.
they haven't had any work.
thanks for correcting.
Pine View, yeah.
Been a long week. Pine View, 0.67 miles.
Wow.
See, it's in here.
Not very much.
Well, and hopeful that would mean it's not very much to fix it. If it doesn't need a ton of work and it's some ditching, there's some erosion that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, right in that curve.
Unlike Park Ridge, it didn't look like it had tons of trees all approaching. I mean, it
We
looked
have-
very,
Pretty open.
it looked very open,
Yeah.
as I recall. I went and drove it right after our last meeting too.
Do we have the agreement,
I remember like.
2024?
I couldn't find it. I could only find the 2023.
Because we can, okay, I was thinking we can compare some of the gravel roads that we just did, you know, the length, because it'll have the length on there. Okay, so the in Pine View, I have a question mark, but that would be the northwest.
Segment number 5.
Which was why we chose it at the last
Yeah.
meeting. We were trying this meeting.
What about the southwest? Do you have that in your file or in your Excel, hopefully?
Give me a rough idea what section it is.
So we go up to Scio Church
Mhm.
and down to Parker.
So those are like,
And it would probably be from Zeeb over to Parker. In that,
Is there a road in there that needs attention? That hasn't had any in a long time from the spreadsheet.
we did Streeter not too long
Like
ago,
the
a couple
little
years
section
ago.
Streeter.
It's a tremendous amount of traffic.
It does,
over there.
Park Road.
No, Park is arguably sort of falling between northwest and southwest.
And it's closed down for a while, so we don't have to
So
worry
you're
about that.
looking roughly
It would be, yeah, this segment.
So you're looking at 21, 20, 19. I gotta write these down and then I can see.
Okay, so is that Streeter?
We took off 6.
Yeah.
Streeter.
12.
Yeah, but I need the segments. If I've got the
Oh, the
segment
segment,
21,
okay.
so you got 19,
Or
20,
however it
21,
goes, I can't remember.
and then
I
30,
remember if it was like
29,
this.
and 28,
This.
and then 31, 32, 33. And then what you can do is come in here,
It's through.
filter on those segments.
This DT gas main, which the engineers somehow mislaid, forgot.
They call them this date.
Sorry to break into the meeting. Ian, you're unmuted and we're getting a little bit of an audio loop. So just mute your laptop and we'll be all set.
So Park Road
Thank
is delayed until.
Should be better now. Thanks, Rob. Sorry about that.
And it's basically closed as a dead end. This ending.
Bless you.
Well, but if Pine View is not needing a ton of gravel on a good bit of it, it may not be terribly expensive to work on. Craig Road, not sure how much work that one's gonna need. Park Road, Park Ridge is gonna need a fairly substantial uplift. We may be able to sneak one more small project in here. But the road commission is definitely gonna have a list.
Well, they will,
The
but
question
we're
is
the
how
ones,
we
we
dovetail.
have the money, well, we have to give them the money. And they're gonna give us the connector roads more than likely. Which we should look at the connector roads as well and see where we are in that cycle. Do you have that on your laptop? Oh, I thought you were looking up
I
the,
did. There's not a ton in there.
yeah, it's
Here's
just
what I got.
Streeter.
I got that.
Well, Dino Drive was just finished.
Yeah.
Enterprise, a lot of
West
those
Side
are
of
in the
Township is a
DDA.
lot of rural,
A lot of them are.
big rural
Yeah.
out there.
Cedar Ridge. Cedar Ridge, is that? Arbor
Cedar
Point?
Ridge is Arbor Point's main drag.
Yeah, and those are public roads in there.
Maybe that's where the work is still then.
I would argue that Cedar Ridge could probably use a crack fill. I don't know that it needs
And that's also an HOA,
repaving.
and we would need to speak with actually, the president just emailed me. Asking about Park Road. I could email him and see where they are with their roads, because we don't wanna go in, even though they're public roads. Go in there and say, hey, this is what we're doing. If they have an HOA, we need to be collaborative with them.
They definitely have an HOA.
Yeah,
About maintenance, see what they have to say.
okay.
So past French
Yeah.
Country Estates.
Okay,
Across the street.
well, how about,
Oh, okay, okay, I know what that is.
and then we have the southeast segment. And there's a lot of roads in there.
There's a lot.
There's that whole, all the of course, all the Scio, whatever subdivisions all down in there. Are those all, private roads because they're newer subs or?
Are your roads public or
Where
private?
I'm at, they're private.
I think you're the only private.
Right.
Say like Leeds is.
Because there's a ton of all subdivision
Yep.
stuff.
That's the densest part of.
Yeah.
Densest point in the community.
So all of those are
By a bunch.
private roads in there?
No, just,
Yeah,
those,
my
this,
hometown are.
Okay. And they all kind of, their subdivisions all kind of like blend together.
Oh.
I'm driving from one to
You know,
another to another.
There's-
There's Lakeview. You know, that little
oh,
road
yeah.
right off. Yeah, it almost, because a lot of that is that's Ann Arbor, but then as you're going towards Liberty Athletic, there's this little road and Scio owns that. And I don't think they've had anything.
Yeah, it's gravel up there.
And Scio Ridge just had some work. they had the sidewalk and,
The road is still in pretty good shape too.
Scio Ridge.
It's our ridge, yeah.
where is it? Where is it? I think it's like right here.
Lakeview is literally right across from Fent.
Yes,
Rendell's
Across from-
Fent, just east of Wagner on
The building
Liberty.
base.
It's a dirt road. Quarter mile. Maybe a half a mile, maybe.
Is it the first one or there's a second one? There's
The
I think it's
second one,
two
the
roads.
first one's a commercial and it's paved. The second one is Lakeview. It falls right off of Liberty Road.
Got it.
there's probably like 30 homes back there.
Is it
Lakeview.
Lakeview? Oh, give me some. Two 6 miles.
Yeah. Okay, and what is Partridge? So, seems like it's 5 miles.
Give me a minute.
So Cedar Ridge, what did you say that was, Craigville?
I would suggest Craigville.
Park Ridge splits 2 segments, 0.59
Hmm,
and 0.65.
1.6. 1 2/3 miles, 1/3 mile. Okay.
Well. One of those paved though? Is that the end?
Don't it? It's not that long, is it?
Okay, did that say 1.24? Okay, so that's a gravel. Now, if we could look at the connector road list, do you have that on Excel? Roy, remember from the 10-year township wide, because then we can look at that and
Is
see,
that this?
is that it?
I don't know. That's my question. I had a cookie, I don't even, this might not be it, this is Scio local road, Scio subdivision roads.
Oh, Marshall,
It's got some, doesn't seem
No.
right, does it?
there's another Excel.
I've got it, I just.
Okay.
Always question.
Now you can find anything on there, you've got tons.
Yeah.
Well, are we far enough along with this list that we have a couple things we can pitch out to the road? Yeah, commission and see,
Well,
that would be 5 roads. If you
Just to
count
kinda-
Park Ridge as 2 parcels or 2 pieces.
if we could get a kind of a guesstimate, maybe, because we have to still present it to the board for the capital improvement in the budget.
These people.
Yeah, that's it.
Side over it.
So what did we, what
This
hasn't been?
might not be up to date though, I just could find,
Oh, okay.
I've got like multiple renditions of this document,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I need to clean up. I gotta,
I suspect I have one that's about 6 iterations older, so.
Yeah. Alright, so it's road knowledge summary, let me just have a quick look.
Well, here's a question, as we're presenting it to the board, what information do we want to present? Do we just want to say we propose that Park Ridge needs a gravel uplift and we'd like to put it as number
Well,
1 on our list?
We'll have
Or
a.
do we say Park Ridge is 0.34 miles instead of 2, parts? And one needs more work than the other. How much do you give them?
Well, we would have to give them, that's why we're creating this potential agreement list, but it would also be our budget list.
But I mean, when we literally bring it to the board, do we need to give them a second sheet that shows length of the road and, you know, anticipated specifics, or do we just give them
Oh,
the
I
name of
see.
the road and say, these are the 5 pieces we'd like to suggest for this year, we're asking for $400,000.
Yeah, I think we should give as much detail as
It-
possible,
I think that
because the
a half
last
page
one,
anyway would be something.
yeah. Okay, well.
Well, it's kind of powerful to be able to say it was last improved in, 2016.
Mhm.
And it's X distance long, and the work that appears to need to be done is, ditching or culvert or. Cause if we're asking for $400,000, we need to send something for culvert in that $400,000.
That's what we need to find out if they're, because we have the 2 culverts next season that will be completed, and we already have the money for that. We just, however that it's taken care of. But if there's any other culverts that we'll find out that we need to replace in a couple of years, then we need to present that to the board in our capital improvement plan.
And we're trying to go in front of the board in their first meeting of December,
December 17th, that would be the second.
second meeting in December.
And of course, that's,
Would it be germane, not only to talk about the road and the distance and the last it was worked on, but the number of residents also? I don't know.
We
that
don't actually
information
have
is-
that
I was
information,
gonna say,
that's the
how
piece
hard would it
we
be?
can, yes, but
Yeah,
sort of like going to the tax rolls and trying to count the number of addresses listed on a road. I don't know we have access to the number of residents on a road. And if they're, well, I guess that it'd still show if they were duplexes or if they were apartment complexes or.
Subdivisions would usually have that too.
Well, I'm just, they list it by on the tax roll, they list it by road name,
no luck.
so you could.
What do you have?
Well, the connector road list, because that we need to include the,
I think that document must be relatively up to date. Because, we didn't really, it's proposed 2023 and we didn't really do anything after that.
well, we did, in 2024, we included Tubbs Road. Excuse me,
Tubbs is not on here,
and Stein, no, because you don't have 2024 on
is.
there.
right? But I don't know that we ever transferred all that information into here. I don't
Right,
know. So I mean, I don't feel like this is terribly out of date.
what is that?
Jackson's.
Oh, stapler.
Have you seen this spreadsheet?
Oh, well, let's just, excuse me.
Ian's gonna try and wrestle it so that we've got it, we can put it. What we've done in the past is just printed it out because it's too big to put on your screen of your computer very well. It's, I don't know, 20 columns wide.
Was that the one that turned out like
Yeah.
this? big
Yeah,
enough?
and if we upload it to Granicus, it just works it and you have a,
Just stick it in with an image.
yeah, we could. Just don't print it off. Because,
So we're trying to create a resolution at our next meeting to present to the board and ask for the 2025 road agreement, right?
well, it's just the capital improvement plan. And we do have time because, we want to start now because if there's anything that we need to figure out, like we thought last year that our agreement was fine and then we found out that there was changes that would happen. And we were back and forth and we are actually, yeah. But, what we could do is create a list, go to the connector road list, because we want to keep up on those. We already have a system with that. And then these other few neighborhood lists, have maybe Adam review it and just give us a guesstimate. Because then we're gonna have to go back to the board. If it's $600,000, we're gonna have to cut back. But if it's under the 400,000, not including, then we can add. That's where we need to, start doing. And once we get it complete as much as possible. And I will talk with, the board members and what do they want from roads regarding a capital improvement plan? And do they want, is this our capital improvement plan, then we just throw some money in for a culvert? But I don't know,
We've never done this before.
right? Okay.
Years.
So the next time we meet, okay, well, yeah, we'll have one more meeting before the capital improvement plan, so why don't we continue? And then we can figure out, let's just add the 2024 agreement to this sheet here. Another column. Now, of course, some of the neighborhood roads, they're not gonna be on theirs, but the connector roads and at least,
Just do a match.
yeah,
I don't know that I have the 2024 agreement.
I'll send it to you.
I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I can't find it either. It's funny.
I started like trying to get a bit more organized with all the documents, and I've now got an area for road agreements.
I just can't find 2024.
I look in there and it says 2014 to 2021.
I'll send it to everybody, how about that?
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right,
We've never been this far before with our list by November. This is actually sort of epic. You just don't know it. It is.
she's right.
Hooray.
System's working.
Okay. 20, okay, well, I guess that's the same, just talked about that. New business, special assessment district for policy for public roads. If we can begin working on that, and we do have a good beginning. Patrick, in fact, I brought,
For the policy.
yeah, for policies, right? Public road policy. And I did bring some files.
But the old one is 8-page, the one you linked in the agenda. 8-page document.
Yes.
That was the one, I kept that in my email list that Patrick sent me a long time ago, so I hope that's the correct. Because we did start working on it at one point, then decided to do the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, it's Roy, Bob and I worked on it for several months.
So the purpose of the policy is what the board and Chris and people who work for the township, kind of, it fleshes out the stuff in the nuts and bolts, kind of a little more in detail, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's more of the,
It's an inside document. I mean,
yeah.
in that it's just kind of like,
I mean,
if
we'll
they
have,
ask you about this and this, here's what the policy is.
yeah, we'll have it on our webpage too,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's mostly for our staff, so they,
Know how to answer questions and what the data,
yeah.
the way to answer.
And
Yeah.
they don't like to deal with SAD, so we're gonna make it as easy as possible and,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
if we,
See, one change you gotta make here,
what's that?
official petition sufficiency requires 75% personal owner
What
signatures.
page is that on?
It's,
And we decided it should be 65.
right, exactly. On page 5.
Yeah.
Letter D. I guess that's where we have to start with it, is just read it
Yeah.
again and
So when was the last time this document was touched?
Well, it says March.
With a 10-foot pole.
It's March of 24.
Okay.
This is revision 6, so they had already been through it.
So
fairly
how
closely.
did, so is there like commit, what's the procedure for?
I'm just waiting for you to volunteer.
But I'm doing the
I know.
private with you. I'm doing
No,
private with you.
You know, I'm thinking that maybe we should begin this in January after we,
The
because we have
policy.
begin working on the policy again, because you're gonna be working on the history. We need to get this agreement together and then the capital improvement plan for next, find out what they want for that. Because this, as we know with the nuts and bolts, that was pretty tedious.
Yeah.
The policy is gonna be even worse because it's more. And then after that, we get to start on the public road part of it. And,
probably the private road.
the private,
roads.
yes.
Yeah, and I told you I'd do the private. I mean, I would, but I'm gonna need you to help me with that. Because you know everything.
Well,
No.
well, I don't know about that, but,
Well,
when we get there, because the private is that's going to have even more detail than the
Right.
public.
That's what you mean. And then there has to be a private policy as well.
Yes.
Well, we're trying to make something that you can go to in the website
Right,
and you
yeah.
can print off, because right now there is just nothing.
Right. You know, I think it's
I
a
want to
terrific
do this, how
idea.
do I do this? And you call the township and they say, well, we don't really know, it's not been done in 10 years.
And I agree. I
Go
think
talk
it's
to
a
the road
terrific
advisory
idea.
committee.
Yep.
Absolutely. I think it's great.
That's what we're working on, right?
Yep,
And then it'll have to go in front of legal, of course,
yep. So all of
and then get
those,
board approved.
so kind of all of this is kind of getting tabled off until January.
Yeah, let's hold off on this, policy. Or re-beginning
Okay,
the policy.
okay.
Okay, next on the agenda is possible election of chair, vice chair, and secretary. This is according to our policy. Every November, we go through this process. And I nominate. I'm looking at you. Okay, I wouldn't do that to you. You're a new member. Anybody? Maybe we should have kept 9.
It's very illustrious to be the chair of the roads advisory committee, I can tell you from experience.
Are you saying that with a little hint of,
I'm glad to continue being the secretary.
I nominate you. Or are you nominating yourself as?
I mean,
Is there a second for Patrick?
you can second.
I'll second.
And Bob, are you happy with your position?
what is your position?
He does the minutes.
They're co-secretary.
Co-secretary.
Yeah.
Whatever Julian wants me to do.
He does the minutes and Patrick does the agenda.
Jillian, I have concerns about how busy you're going to be, and it takes time to find material for the agenda and pull the agendas together.
Mhm.
It's quite a lot of time.
Yeah,
So
that's
I,
how Patrick helps a lot.
I think Linda should take it up.
Linda's working 70 hours a week right now and will be
Yeah.
for about another 6 months. So no, this is not something I can take on. Not this time.
Well, I will be, after beginning November 20th, I will be here every day in the office. Have a nice office that I can spread things out. And Christy's helping me get organized, kind of like what we do here. We, break down every month what we know we absolutely have to do. And we schedule things and whatnot. But I would eventually like to step down from this. Not that I do love being on this committee. I know it's the weirdest thing. People are like, you should, what about parks or pathways? But we need roads and we can never live without them. Anyway, so I do, and I enjoy working with all of you.
As do we.
And Chris, you will have to resign from your job in order to join our committee and become the chair.
That's something I know, huh?
That might be better for us, so.
Well, Ian, what would happen if we made you chair and Jillian vice chair? I'm making a proposal. I know you don't need any more to do
He
either.
has 3 kids.
Yeah.
I'm slammed and
Yeah.
I feel like I'm,
Yeah,
I feel like I'm not participant enough, so. Yeah, I'm probably like you work-wise as well, so.
no escaping it.
I
from
I
that.
like doing the tech and I'm happy doing that, I can help in that role.
And
I'm
that's very
happy, I'm happy to stay in the role, I'm happy to leave the role, I really. It's up to you guys, I mean, I don't feel like I do that much other than the background stuff, so.
Which is invaluable.
Which is
You got
important.
us back up on Zoom.
Yeah.
You pulled up the spreadsheets and we're
Yep.
the biggest part of
And I
that
was
whole
on my phone
discussion.
texting
Well-
people, so I don't think I was like off doing so, I was like. People wanted to connect and.
Like we would
How about,
judge you for saying,
well, why don't we continue as it is? Let's review this in 6 months. How about that?
We could have an interim election, sure.
If you guys are okay.
And think, a lot of things could change in 6 months. We could have more people that want to join. We could even change, you go back to the board and say, we really need 2 more members.
I could understand what DDA means, It's a lot to learn.
Yeah. It is a lot to learn.
You picked up some important pieces already, though.
Oh,
It's really
absolutely.
helpful.
Growth is to the grave. Every time I sit in here, I learn something.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And they're nice people.
All right,
So are we having a vote or are we
Sure.
having a? Or do we present you as a slate or do we present you individually?
well, so we'll do this, just re-elect at this point with, and revisit in 6 months. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to.
Second.
Well, wait a minute, what did, she's gotta say what the motion is.
Well,
To
This from Linda, we second.
yeah,
maintain the existing slate of officers. And have an interim election in 6 months to reassess.
That would be,
the June meeting.
Is that June first,
Yeah,
June meeting or
June.
July? meeting?
6 months. would be
Frequently
June
don't have a
meeting.
July meeting, so let's say the first June meeting.
May, June? Yeah, it would be May.
Man,
Okay, May.
And are you seconding?
Yes.
Seconding?
Now I am, yes.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Okay, sorry. Okay, this is great. So, any opposed position? No, all right. Well, that's that.
Draft minutes.
I didn't find anything.
Yeah, I moved that we approve of this.
Yeah, thank you, Bob, really well.
yeah. Second. You moved?
Patrick moved.
And Caroline,
Second,
second,
to approve the minute.
All in favor?
I,
right?
all right, so let's, there's a few reports, any discussion on those reports?
I would like to add one thing.
Sure.
In the last road commission meeting, I don't, everybody is cognizant, there's an Amazon warehouse going down on Carpenter Road. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a huge monstrous building. All right, across from the welding supply place,
Yeah, yeah.
on the right hand side. As you go to Sam's Club, they're building a big,
Oh, I tried to, their Michigan Avenue is just torn up over there.
yeah.
Yeah, it's,
So they're putting a big Amazon facility distribution warehouse there. And the good news is they're doing an exit and entrance off egress and ingress off Morgan Road. And
oh,
that Morgan Road then takes them out to US 12, so there'll be no traffic on Carpenter as a result of the upgrade to Morgan Road.
good.
And then that exits off on US 12, which takes them right to 23 if they need to get on and off. But they're pretty much along on this Amazon distribution center warehouse.
wow. I haven't heard about that.
It's not a place we get to go.
Yeah,
A big warehouse.
no, we had a WARMA meeting at Pittsfield Township. Yeah, that was fun, trying to get down Michigan Avenue. I thought it made me appreciate the Jackson Road construction over the summer. It was nothing compared to what they're going through over there. But thank you for that.
Yeah, so I probably don't frequent it, but a lot of Renee goes to Sam's and Costco, or we go
Yeah.
both ways. So we go to Sam's often down there and see it.
Okay, wow.
I have a question. It's just, in one of the reports I read, this cell phone tower for Verizon, it said north of,
The Maxi cell tower.
It said West
West Delhi.
Delhi in all of the documents,
Yeah.
but if you look at that parcel,
Peters.
it's Peters Road. that
It's
parcel
just-
number.
It said it's north of Huron River, and I'm like, hey, West Delhi doesn't go north of Huron River.
No, it doesn't. And what I don't understand, like I said, is it had in the thing that on the Board of Trustees where they were on that agenda item, they had the actual document there. They had the parcel number, so I went onto the Scio tax records for it. And it's Peters Road between Miller and Zeeb, that parcel. And I double checked my numbers. I said, am I really plugging in the right number? And I was plugging in the right number.
Miller crosses you.
Yeah, so, but Peters, it's off of Peters.
Peters is a little
Peters,
archy
you know,
road.
does
there.
that little Archie doohickey.
Well, is that,
Right before you go up the bridge.
Yeah, the Archie doohickey.
Yeah.
So, so is the parcel go all the way from Peters to West Delhi? Is it like a long skinny parcel? That maybe butts up onto West Delhi? I couldn't tell from the,
I can pull up the parcels.
yeah, because
Not
could be wrong.
particularly high there, so it's
I-
an interesting
I could be
spot.
wrong, but
Cell
I
phone tower.
looked at the number that they had in the document and I plugged in that parcel number on the tax records. When it said map day. Looked and said, hey, it's called Peters Road.
Yeah.
Parcel's called Peters.
And there's an
Road.
old gravel pit back in there and it's
But this
now a
was
housing subdivision.
north of Huron River.
They're wrong.
And then I.
They're
will-
wrong.
Oh, that's wrong.
I think is what is the point.
we need a
They're incorrect.
cell phone tower here. I mean,
Yeah, north of Huron River, we'd love it.
We have issue after issue.
I live in a cell dead zone right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Total cell dead.
yeah, this is not very good.
well, maybe
We have
this
juice
tower
there,
is actually closer to you than what you think, and
Maybe.
hopefully it'll.
Verizon booster on my phone. Otherwise, I mean, I have less than a bar in my house.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have the same problem.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Okay, any,
Did you see it? I mean, are you looking it up?
Trying to, yeah.
I'm just curious. It's just, I could be wrong. I mean, wrong.
So Verizon needed to get board approval for that.
well, the company, yeah, it went through the planning commission, there was an issue over, at least one issue that of the driveway, if it had to be a class C or B road or something like that, but I guess they worked it out.
When do we expect to put this up?
I don't know.
What was your question?
When do they expect to put up?
Well, they still have to do a site plan. They've just gotten the original, so they still need next round of site plan. Mhm.
Probably in the spring.
Probably, yeah.
When you get 2 bars, you'll know.
That's why I'm asking.
No, hopefully it'll be more than that, but,
Clearly it doesn't,
Yeah.
because there's a farm.
okay,
Yeah, I mean, there's a big. parcel
Well,
there and-
let's,
So we're excited about the Verizon cell phone tower.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but
Now I
They
can
put
kind of
some
see how we
mobile
can
in
fit
it.
it into roads, talking about the driveway, but, or class C road, but, okay. Well, there's reports and educational information, the newsletters, if there's any discussion on that, if not, let's go to public comments. And we have somebody in the, in person. Okay, Judy,
Everything's excellent.
Online, we have Rob Addison. Rob, if you'd like to, and Pam. Rob got there first, so
Thank you, Rob Pattinson, Scioto Township resident. Caroline, the Maxey property, I think it's a guy named Dr. Maxey for Maxey Cosmetics.
Yeah,
He has several parcels, and I think a couple of them are on West Delhi, and so that's sort of his maybe the base of operations for the application, but the actual property is indeed the old gravel pit. Directly south of the Sweetster building across the Huron River.
right.
So it's across the river in the old gravel pit that,
Okay,
like Linda said, is now a subdivision.
okay, so okay, so it is off Peters Road.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Okay,
mm,
okay, I'm not like losing my mind. Okay.
No.
I got it. It's this one. It's a huge property.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow, dang.
Oh, sorry. Just shrunk it.
Oh, I like that picture. That's pretty.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
You bet. Jonathan was here earlier
Yeah.
and there are some issues with Trailwoods. And there's issues with Park Road. Apparently, they found an unmapped utility of some sort, either gas or electric, and that has interrupted the Park Road and Stabler Road construction, and they've stopped for the year, and they won't begin again until next year. Residents have asked the supervisor to talk to the road commission to get Park Road opened up. They can't for the winter. They can't open up Stabler because apparently in the reconstruction process, they've either begun to disassemble the small wooden bridge that was there on Stabler, 100 yards from Park. So they can't open up Stabler, but it's a huge inconvenience for the people on Park to have to go all the way around. So they're working on getting that opened up. And there are other issues with Trailwoods, and Jonathan didn't log back in to tell you guys about that, but just wanted to give you a heads up about Park Road.
Yeah, Jonathan said he got stuck in his shop, so
Okay.
I did write to him.
Well, can I add that, it is actually very bad. There's a number of people who haven't been receiving their mail since July when they closed Park Road because the road's marked as closed and the postal carriers won't go down the road that's marked as closed. And then Priority Waste is not picking up garbage for a number of citizens down there. Two of my rentals down there, I've been collecting waste since July weekly. And, they won't go down because the road closed sign says road closed. Wow. So if they would just lift the stupid road closed sign, leave Stabler closed, it would alleviate. There's not a lot of us down there, but the 15 or 20 people who are,
No garbage and no mail?
yeah.
One last question. Ian, when you restarted the meeting, did you have to restart a new recording or did it continue the old recording? So it's all one, or is it going to be in two parts?
I think it'll be in two parts. I honestly don't know, Rob.
Okay, no
And
worries.
as soon as I started it, it started recording. So usually I start the meeting, stop the recording, wait until everybody's joined and then start the recording. So
Right.
I don't even know where the recordings go.
Okay. No worries. I will get the info
YouTube.
Steve tomorrow.
We generally receive,
It says
email.
it goes to the cloud, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
God knows where that is.
What's up
Well
there?
done,
True.
And
It was
then that
another
much.
good working session. You guys do a great job and I really enjoy this committee. Well done.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Rob.
Rob.
Pam Boyd, have your hand raised?
Thank you, Pam Boyd, Scio resident. Great meeting. Ian, thank you for getting us back online. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I think you guys work really, really well together, and I think your solution to do a midterm election is really a good one. And so I want to thank you for how well you've done. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any other hands raised.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second? Or is there a second? Okay. And what time is it?
8:26.
8:26, we are adjourned. Oh, wait a minute. All in favor of adjourning?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And please take cookies. I will not take them home.